I realized someone was watching us only when I saw the light on our porch turn on from the inside. That was impossible. We weren't home. It happened 3 years ago during a late summer weekend in a quiet lakeside town in the Midwest. The kind of place where the roads disappear into darkness after sunset, and everyone knows each other by name. My girlfriend, her sister, and I had rented a small house by the water just to get away for a bit. It wasn't completely remote, but it felt isolated, tucked between trees and empty vacation homes. The first night passed without anything unusual. Too quiet, if I'm being honest. On the second evening, we drove out in a pickup truck to grab food from a place about 10 minutes away. When we turned onto our street, I slowed down without even thinking. Our house was lit up. The porch light was on, and one of the lights in the living room, too. I remember asking, "Did either of you leave the lights on?" They both said no. I parked across the street instead of pulling into the driveway. Something felt wrong, but I couldn't explain what exactly. We sat there for a minute, just staring. No movement, no sound. I called out from the yard, asking if anyone was there. My voice sounded weaker than I expected. No one answered. The front door was closed, locked as far as I could tell. Eventually, we convinced ourselves we were overthinking it. Vacation nerves, too many scary stories. Inside, nothing looked disturbed, nothing was missing. The windows were shut, but the air felt wrong, heavy. Later that evening, while we were sitting on the back deck by the lake, we heard footsteps on the gravel path behind the house. Slow, measured. I stood up and shined my phone's flashlight into the trees. The beam caught nothing. The footsteps stopped immediately. After that, we went inside, locked every door, closed the curtains. I remember lying awake, listening. Every small sound felt intentional. At some point, I heard the porch light click on. I never heard anyone leave. The next morning, I found wet footprints on the deck. Bare footprints. They led from the edge of the yard to the back door, and then they stopped. At first, I didn't say anything. I didn't want to scare anyone. But the feeling didn't leave us all day, like we were slightly out of sync with the house. That evening, we decided to drive to the nearest dock to watch the sunset. We were gone less than an hour. When we got back, the front door was unlocked. I knew for a fact it had been locked when we left. I checked it myself. Inside, the house smelled different. Not bad, just like it had been used. One of the kitchen chairs was pulled out. The radio was on, very low. I felt my chest tighten. Someone had been here while we were gone. We checked every room together. Closets, the bathroom, the small storage space under the stairs. Nothing. We thought about calling someone, but what would we even say? The house feels wrong? That night, none of us slept. Around 2 in the morning, my phone on the nightstand started vibrating. A call. It was my friend who had stayed behind earlier to fish by the lake. His voice was panicked. He said 2 figures had come out of the woods near the water. They didn't speak. They just stood there, watching. When the girls screamed, everyone scattered. Someone called emergency services. They were hiding near the road, waiting for help. And then the call cut off. I tried calling him back. No answer. We got dressed and drove out to the road, parking with the headlights off. The darkness felt alive. After what felt like forever, we saw flashing lights in the distance. Relief hit me too fast. But when the lights drove past us without stopping, heading deeper toward the lake, something inside me went cold. Because someone was standing at the edge of our yard, watching them too. The figure didn't move when the lights passed. It didn't react at all. I couldn't see a face, just a silhouette, half hidden by the trees. We stayed in the car, doors locked, barely breathing. I didn't want to draw its attention. After a long minute, the figure took a step back into the darkness and disappeared. We drove straight to where our friends were hiding. They were shaken but unharmed. Emergency services searched the area but found no one, no explanation, no follow-up. They advised us to stay somewhere else for the night. We packed only the essentials and left before sunrise. As we were driving away, I glanced back at the porch. The light turned on. No one was there. We didn't go back, not even during the day. We just left the keys and drove out of town. For months, I tried to forget, told myself it was coincidence, stress. Then I received a package. No return address. Inside was my phone charger, the same one I had left plugged in by the bed in the lake house, carefully wrapped, and a note, just 6 words, written very neatly. "You forgot this. I didn't." I contacted the owner of the house right away. He was surprised. He said that ever since we left, the house had been empty. No cleaning, no visitors. When I mentioned the footprints and the lights, he went quiet. Then he told me something he hadn't said before, something he usually waited to see if renters would bring up on their own. People had complained before. Things moving, lights, doors. Some said they felt like they were being watched. One family left early because their child started talking to a man who knows their names. The next season, the owner stopped renting the house, said it wasn't worth it. I threw the note away, tried to forget about it, until last winter. I was staying at my parents' house, sleeping in my old room. I woke up in the middle of the night to a familiar click. The lamp on the dresser turned on, slowly. On the floor, near the door, were wet footprints, bare. They led straight to my bed and stopped exactly where someone would stand if they wanted to watch me sleep.